Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock, Drogheda. Before COVID, I used to travel a lot to different countries. Maybe those days will return again, I don't know. But what I do know is this, that those of us that actually fly a lot, pretty soon we build up an impressive collection of stories about things that have happened on aeroplanes. It just seems to be that environment of people packed into that little metal tube. Strange things seem to happen. Sometimes that even begins before you start the flight. I made the mistake a number of years ago of I was catching an EasyJet flight out of Belfast and over to Manchester or Liverpool, I can't remember quite where, but I was wearing this shirt with a black jacket. And of course the EasyJet colours are bright orange and their staff wear orange. And I was in the terminal waiting to board the flight, and I got stopped about 20 times by people asking me about their boarding pass and which gate they had to leave from, and complaints about the flight being late and everything else, because they assumed I was working for EasyJet because I had the orange shirt on. So I'll be honest with you, this shirt never ever comes off the hanger if I'm traveling anywhere. There's no way I'm going to wear this shirt in an airport ever again. But yesterday I shared in the Take 5, I shared about when I went to the Ukraine for the first time and arriving at the airport with not knowing anybody and not speaking the language, and in what was actually quite an intimidating experience, but God showed that he was in charge. Well, on the way, on the second leg of that flight from Vienna to Odessa, I remember that my friend Jorge was supposed to be sitting beside me, and because he didn't show up, they put somebody else in beside me. And as the flight took off, I'm waiting for the in-flight entertainment. But of course, on many short flights within Europe, you've got so many different languages on board that they try to use things that they try to use videos that everybody from different languages will probably understand anyway. Mr. Bean is a favorite, of course, because you don't need to understand any words to follow Mr. Bean. But on this flight, they showed the obligatory Mr. Bean video, and then after that, they showed a Walt Disney cartoon. And it was a cartoon about Donald Duck and Chip and Dale, the chipmunks. And here's the crazy thing. I was flying on the anniversary of, first of all, it was my wedding anniversary, which was not a smart thing to do. As a husband, you don't catch a flight on your wedding anniversary on your own, but I did. And I'm on my way to the Ukraine on my wedding anniversary, which is also the anniversary of the death of our little daughter. And this was I can't remember exactly, either the first or the second anniversary of her death. And the cartoon that they were playing on the plane was one of my daughter's favorite cartoons that she used to watch. And ever since my daughter's death, I had been working really hard. You got to understand, I grew up in a place in East Belfast where you discovered quickly early on that you didn't cry. Because if you cried, it was seen as a sign of weakness and people would stomp all over you. And so I actually cried very little after the death of our daughter and for the subsequent year or two. And I'm here on this flight, and here's this cartoon that my daughter used to love to watch. And I'm sort of a bit emotional anyway because it's the anniversary of her death and I'm on my own, away from my family. And I began to cry. I mean, not just a little bit, I'm sobbing uncontrollably on the plane, feeling an absolute idiot. And the guy beside me is looking at it, and Donald Duck's getting hit on the head, and I'm crying. And he leaned over and he patted my arm, and he said to me, "Don't worry, it's not real. It's only a cartoon." And I felt the biggest idiot in Europe. But it taught me a lesson. It taught me that our God-given emotions, such as joy, but also grief, and pain have been given to us for a reason. And when we hide them and when we suppress them and don't actually experience what are the normal emotions that God would want us to feel when we have times of great joy or times of great sorrow, when we suppress them, we actually do damage to ourselves. You know, I began to grieve and I learned to properly grieve my daughter, but it all began watching Donald Duck on an aeroplane somewhere between Vienna and Odessa. And I want to encourage you today, please, if you've got painful things in your life, don't suppress them. Don't ignore them. Don't think they'll go away if you try not to think about them, but rather allow Jesus to comfort you in your pain. I know eventually he did that for me when I allowed him to. I came to be able to celebrate and learn many things from the life of our little daughter, but it took a Donald Duck video to bring me to that moment. I pray that whether you're full of joy today or whether you're grieving, you will open your heart for the Lord to share with you what you're going through right now, because he wants to do that. Please join us again on Monday for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.